it's hard and it sucks, and I don't get to have things I love, but you don't get to do everything you want to do because sometimes it's not right.
I think you gotta have a dream.
The School of Greatness.
Really? Yeah.
Please welcome Lewis Howes.
And what I love about you is you really talk about vulnerabilities and insecurities, and you go in and talk about a lot of real stuff. And one of the coolest things I saw you post was actually a video you shared of someone else, of a young girl that said, "I'm ugly, or I'm too ugly." And then this older woman, I don't know if it was her mom or if it was an older sister or a caretaker. It looked
like a mom's friend or something,
who
was doing her hair.
Yeah, doing her hair, was like, stopped her and was like, "No, you are beautiful. You're amazing. I love this about you." And I was like really inspired that you posted that.
Yeah.
Because I think we have a platform where we can really inspire people, and it's great to tell jokes and do your thing and, you know, make people laugh and entertainment. But when you can remind people of how beautiful they are, I think it's really special. So I want to acknowledge you for the gift you have in reminding girls who follow you about not comparing themselves, not judging themselves.
I was conflicted about that video in many ways.
It was the greatest video you posted.
It was one of the best videos I've watched, the most moving like things I've seen on Reddit. And I saw it late one night, and it popped up again yesterday, and I was like, oh, I have to repost this. I forgot because I showed my closest friends, because this little girl, what was heartbreaking about the video is this little girl's 4, and she looks into the camera and just like sees herself on the screen
or something, right?
Yeah, because it's like an Instagram live or something, or something live, and the woman's just, you know, doing a live video while she's doing this little girl's hair, and the little girl just looks at herself and she goes, "I'm ugly." And it was just like, to me, I feel that way like so much all the time. Oh yeah, I struggle with it a lot, and people always comment, "You're beautiful," all these things. I know, thank you. Like I know I'm a pretty girl who's complaining about feeling ugly, but I can't help, I do feel very ugly sometimes. And I have face dysmorphia, I have body dysmorphia, but like as I age too, it just gets worse and worse. And I know that so many women have it too, so I know I'm not alone. But the way this little girl said I'm ugly was like, I felt it. I've felt that way before, but to see it, I didn't feel it until I was, I think 17 was probably the first time I started really feeling that way and being like, this, I hate myself because of it.
Really? So what would it be? You'd look in the mirror, or you'd see a girlfriend, or you'd see someone on TV, and then you'd be like, "Oh, I don't like the way I look."
Yeah, like you just see someone who's beautiful and you're like, why is God so cruel to have, why I got this? I used to yell at my mom and say, "Why did you," I'm not joking.
You did not.
I was like 12, so it probably started younger, honestly, because my sister, it was around the time my sister got really beautiful, which she was in 6th grade and I was in 8th grade. And I remember telling my parents, I'd go, "Mom," I remember my mom was doing the dishes and I was just trying to antagonize her because I was just so mad that I was so ugly and my sister was so pretty. And I go, "Why did you and Dad have sex knowing you could make something as ugly as me?"
No, you did not.
I swear to God, I was like, that was irresponsible of you. You have ugliness in your families. You knew this could happen. And my mom goes,
I'm not laughing because
no, it's so sad. But it is funny to say that to your own mom. And my mom was offended, obviously. Like, don't say we're ugly and you're ugly. But she would never say, you know, telling a child, "You're beautiful, shut up." Like, it doesn't, that's just things parents have to say. So when she would say, like, she would say, "Just be happy with what you have." And that always to me was like, you are ugly, so just suck it up.
Oh my gosh. So she wouldn't say you're beautiful?
She would, but I wouldn't believe about that. And I would go, "No, I'm not." And she's like, "Well, then just be happy with what you have, Nikki." And I'd just be like, that's not what I want to do. I don't want to ever settle. So like, there's this part of me that feels.
I think you had an Instagram post that was like, "Never settle with your dog," or a dog that you're kissing.
Yeah, that I'm kissing with my dog. Never settle, because I don't like being average.
Yeah.
I want to be extraordinary. I don't want to walk into a room and not be the prettiest girl, even though that is always the way it is. Like I understand my limitations in terms of looks. But I truly would do anything to be hot. I would give up my personality to be hotter.
What? Why?
I just think it affords you a better life as a woman.
I understand that.
And I know that's sad to say.
I understand that women who have the beauty card have certain opportunities in life with maybe that are different than women who have a personality or a smarts card or whatever it may be, right?
Yes.
But it doesn't mean they're going to be happy.
No, I know this. I see miserable models all the time. I'm friends with many of them. It doesn't equal happiness.
And they don't think they're beautiful, and there's always someone hotter, and someone's got a bigger butt or bigger boobs.
They're more insecure than any of us like 7s. It is true. Like 10s are more insecure and think they're uglier than most 7s do.
Why is that?
Because it's heightened. My friend who's a model, she's like, the other day she was talking to me about some guy that made her feel bad about something, her looks. And she was like, and he knows, why would he say that when he knows I'm a model? So I get told I'm ugly every day. And I go,
what?
You do? And she's like, yeah. And I'm like, what do you mean? And it's like, because models are so beautiful, photographers and people that work with them feel like they can put them down so much easier because you're a model. It shouldn't affect you that I think you're gained 5 pounds, or shouldn't affect you that I think your eyes are too far apart, whatever it is that makes them a model. So they get insulted all the time. And I remember having a therapist one time because I was crying about the same bullshit. She was like, you should be so grateful you're not a model. They're the most unhappy women because... And I don't, unless you have some other thing you're working on, if everything about you is your looks, which I'm saying is like, I kind of am, I think that looks are that important and I wish I didn't, but I'm going to talk myself out of it now by saying that if everything about you is your looks, it's not a good thing to invest in because the looks are the only thing that are 100% going to fade.
They will.
If you keep going, you're gonna become unfuckable, ladies. You're a dying battery of fuckability, and it's okay, but it's gonna happen. So be okay with yourself because because I've been working on like, I want to look hot to attract a man, right? Like men are just that's how you attract them at first, and then you have a personality, and then they fall in love with you, or they're like easy, you talk too much, but. I was focusing so much on my looks to attract a man. I want a man who just always wants to me, is always so attracted to me, he can't keep his hands off me. It's just, but if a man really, if only loves you for the way you look, or it's like 90% of it, that 90% is it's going to
fragile.
Go away.
It's fragile.
You will lose it.
They're going to get tired of it too.
Well, you will lose that. If ability will be gone. So
Yes.
if you don't have anything else to connect with that person with, he will leave you for someone more fuckable.
That's it. You have to have. This is what Matthew Hussey talks about, which I know you had Matthew
Love
on.
Matthew.
Great guy.
Ugh,
he says
so much from him.
You need to have the combo. He's like, hot guys are only so attractive to women for so long, and then if they don't have the combo, which is like, you need to be hot or sexy or beautiful or handsome and. I don't know, something else. It's like got to be two things. You can't just be one. You can't just be smart. You got to be smart and sensitive.
Yes.
You can't just be hot. You got to be hot and a little something else.
You do.
You need
can't
two
just have
things.
You need two things.
You do. And so you've got
That's interesting.
You've got beauty and you've got personality and you've got drive and you've got hustle. You've got a lot of great qualities.
I have too many things. I really do have too many things.
You have too many things. You don't have time for any guys.
I should have 2 personality traits and stick to those, but it doesn't work for me because you're so right.
You need the combo.
I love hot guys. My mom's always been like, Nikki, you just always are thinking about looks. And I'm like, I struggle so much with sexual intimacy with men that if I'm not sold on you right away in terms of how you look, it's really never going to get there for me.
You're not going to be open intimately.
I can't get there. Once I've put you in a place of like, I would have sex with him, I wouldn't. You're staying there forever. And it's really it's my way of being not open to actual intimacy. So it's like so few can get in, and the men that I'm attracted to are generally very, very out of my league attractive, probably. And then also they're not really available. Because that's a thing that I'm attracted to.
They're married, or they're
no, not married.
not into
that was
intimacy. They're not into intimacy in a relationship.
They're not. They're cheaters. They don't like me.
Why do you attract those men?
Because I'm scared of intimacy. So I'm attracted
Why are
to
you
men
scared
that
of
can't.
intimacy?
I don't know. Trying to figure it out. I'd like to get to the bottom of it.
What's the scariest thing about intimacy for you?
I think if you really, everyone who's scared of intimacy, which a lot of people are, it's that you will truly get to know someone and really let them in, and they won't love you for who you are, and they will reject you, and then you don't have, and then you're abandoned.
And then what? Okay, and then what?
And then, my biggest fear of intimacy truly is like, I just have this weird fear. This is just out of nowhere weird, but it's like a real thing. I get scared of sex with men more than anything, even though it's like all I want and like think about it and I'm motivated by. I'm like a very sexual person, but I don't have sex unless I love someone or like love, whatever that is, unless I'm in a relationship or unless I have been in a relationship with them before where that's like,
right.
But like a new person, I'm very scared to be like sexually intimate with because of, I feel like they'll reject me. I feel like during during the thing might become repulsed in some way or hate it.
With them, or they would hate you?
No, with them.
Wow.
Like, I'm scared. Like, when I've been watching Love is Blind, these girls are always like, before it's revealed and they get to see this guy who they already love,
right?
And they're going to see him, they're always like, I'm worried if he's going to like me. And I was like, if I were them, I'd be like, what if he's not cute? I will now I can't do it. I cannot be physical with someone unless I'm physically attracted to them. And that is a real problem because, like I said, it's a shallow thing. It goes away. But I also feel like I never want to be in a position with a man where I'm like, I've gotten myself into a sexual scenario that I can't get out of, where I'm like, because I know myself, I like to please people.
So you wouldn't say no, you just keep going.
I just go wrong with it.
So when was the first time you remember being like insecure about your looks? Was this 12? Was it 17? Is this like, was there a moment where a girl said, oh, you gotta whatever? Yeah,
I was in 5th grade and someone called me a bucktooth beaver because I had these size teeth in my little 5th grade head, and they were like starting to creep out, and that hurt. In 5th grade, I was like borrowing a piece of paper from my friend Ray, and I think I had done it every day for many days in a row, and it was a pencil. He would always give me one. I was always disorganized, forgetting things, and he would always, when like someone just gives you something every day and you're like, I know he's going to give it to me. I'm just going to take it because we go through
without
this.
asking or.
Yeah, because it just happens this is our thing. That's my pencil at this point. So and I'm in 5th grade, you grab it. He sees me and he goes, damn it, you bucktooth beaver. Why don't you just go in the woods and gnaw down a tree and make your own pencil?
He did not.
In front of everyone. And I was like, and I think my first thought was like, okay, well, I still need lead to like write with because like wood, I'll just like scratch wood into paper. And I think I may have said that to him, but that was the first time I was like, my looks are a problem. Men will punish me for it in front of people. And that's when I went on like lockdown with ever talking to boys or wanting to be gay. 8th grade was probably my most awkward year in terms of looks anyway. And then that was the year in 6th grade that my sister came to my middle school and she was gorgeous. She just like grew into her looks. It was very popular. Everyone liked her.
She was younger by 2 years, right?
She was 2 years younger, and from then on, guys in my grade always had crushes on her. Guys that I would like have dreamed to have liked me. No. So it just began, and every time, and she's the best person ever, and is so not about her looks in any way. Like I love her so much, and so I always feel bad even talking to her about her and being like, "You're the reason I hate myself," but you are, Lauren. And but when we got older, it was like every time she would leave the room, my girlfriends would be like, your sister's so pretty, I hate her, how do you live with it? And I would just be like, I always just felt, I remember walking into a restaurant one time and the hostess was like, oh my God, this child is the most beautiful child I've ever seen. And I'm like standing right next to her.
What about me? What am I doing?
And it just felt terrible. Wow. And from then on, I was like, I am ugly. I have to do everything to not be ugly. And that's when I started being funny, is to like supplement.
To get attention or to be seen.
To be seen.
Wow. Do you think if you were, I mean, you're a beautiful woman, but if you think that you were like your sister's beauty or whatever, that people saw
I'd be way less interesting.
What would you be? What would you be in your life right now?
She's a teacher.
She's a teacher.
She's a happy teacher. I'd be a happy teacher with kids. I wouldn't need this like approval from strangers, from celebrities, from other people I admire. I wouldn't seek it out so much, but I just want to be extraordinary because I don't want to be average. I don't want to be forgotten. I don't want to be not seen because I felt that way so much. So I think that's it. But it started there, and then, and then since then, it's just like.
So what is it you're chasing right now?
Happiness.
On a scale of 1 to 10, 10 being like blissful, happy, what are you right now?
I'm like a 7. I'm pretty happy. I'm overworked, but I'm really happy. But you know what I would really like? Like this coronavirus has got me thinking about if I died tomorrow, I've achieved everything career-wise.
Really?
That I've wanted to.
What have you not achieved?
Hosting SNL. That's it.
That'd be pretty cool.
That's the last one.
But you did Dancing with the Stars, which I want to do someday.
Dude, you got to do Dancing with the Stars.
Because I'm a salsa dancer. I've been dancing semi-professionally for 15 years.
Oh my God.
Around the world.
Dude, yes. You need to get on that show. It's so fun. You will love it so much.
Blast.
It's talk about intimacy with your partner. Dancing 4 hours a day with someone. You get it.
Did you get intimate? Yeah.
Yeah, I fell in love with him. He was married, but and his wife even was like, they talk about this happens every season.
There's like a romance, a love. It's like a story.
Everyone on the show bonds with their partner in a way that would make. But dancers are very like they understand that is a different bond than like a marriage, and that it's going to be a crush. There's going to be a flirtation and stuff. But that's what makes the dance good is that you have chemistry. Right. So they're able to like they're all just so much more fluid and comfortable with their bodies and sexuality, and that experience actually really made me a lot more comfortable, like being sexy, because I really struggle with that. I don't see myself that way, and I rarely do. Like the only time I ever feel like sexy is if I'm like legit like horny. Like I don't. Otherwise, I'm just like I'm a kid.
Right.
And it's like I said, it takes a lot to get me horny. Like guys are so
they don't have the
fast.
combo. They don't have the combo.
Slow it down, all of you. The girl should be the one moving it along, I think, or I would like to be.
The key is to get into a relationship where you actually don't make a move, and the girl is so turned on she can't stop. She has to like essentially rip your shirt off.
Yes.
And that's when you're like, okay, I've done everything I can to like connect to her, to be intimate, to be vulnerable, to love, to support, to be fun, to like everything else.
Yes. Although
you can make a move and kiss, but I mean, like
I really like getting
that's fine.
pawed on pretty hard. Like that would be a thing.
No, it's like flirtation. Like you can flirt all day.
Yes,
but you're saying don't make a move like getting in there. We have a lot of things in common that I learned about. We both were born in Ohio.
Born in Ohio.
You were Cincinnati. I was Columbus.
Yeah.
We both lived in St. Louis. I lived there for about 7 years, through middle school, through college.
I mean, a formative time.
Right. Very formative.
Yeah.
I left, actually, I begged my parents to send me away in 8th grade to go to St. Louis.
Really?
Yeah, because I just did a post of my, 7-year-old self, a photo from me, and I put on the top, I was like, too stupid, too ugly, too skinny, too goofy, and just talking about the insecurities that I had as a kid because girls wouldn't talk to me. So it's like I had to develop a skill so that I could survive. Right. So we have a lot of things in common.
Yeah. You felt ugly too?
All the time. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, of course.
Why? When did that start for you?
I was like this tall when I was like 11 years old. So it was like this, and I had big teeth and they were all crooked and everything. And
when did girls start liking you?
It was probably like in high school when I started to develop into my body. I had no friends growing up, like literally 0 friends. And I just played sports all day by myself. And I remember getting picked, kind of like you had a time, what was it, 4th grade you said, 5th grade?
Yeah.
The bucktooth beaver thing. I had a time in 4th grade as well where I was picked last on a dodgeball team. Like our class went out to play recess dodgeball. And there were 2 captains and they were like the 2 popular kids. And they picked all the guys first and then they picked all the girls. And then I was the last one after all the girls. So it was like a 4th grader being picked after the girls was like super embarrassing. It was like the lowest of low at that time, right? And I just remember being like, no one likes me, no one loves me, no one cares about me. I'm alone. And I can either, one, kill myself.
You were thinking these
thoughts? Yes. And I would go into the principal's office and get in trouble all the time. And I was just like, I wish I were dead. Why am I even here? If no one cares about me, why be alive?
Yeah.
So it was either kill myself. Luckily, I wasn't like doing suicidal things, but I just had these thoughts and I would say it. Or it was like, I'm going to become the biggest, fastest, strongest human being I can be so no one can ever hurt me. I'm going to be the best athlete so I'm never picked last again. And that's what I did. So from 4th grade until, now, essentially I was just like, I'm going to be the best athlete possible. And I played 6 hours a day of basketball and football, whatever it was. I went all in. And so I was always picked first. It was just that was my skill. And so once I had that skill, then women would see me as like the all-star athlete or whatever it is. And I started to develop as a human being and I started to learn and grow and
be able to have friendships.
And have conversations and not be embarrassed all the time. And I also created a challenge for myself when I was 16 because I was terrified to talk to girls. Even though I was getting more attention, I didn't know how to speak.
Yeah.
It's like, hi. It's like, what do you say to a girl when you're attracted to them as a teenage boy? I
wouldn't even know now what you would say.
Exactly.
It's like giving me anxiety thinking about it.
So I created a challenge myself in the summer when I was 16. I was like, every time I feel butterflies around a girl that I see on the street or whatever, at the basketball court or at the gym, whatever it is, I'm going to go up to them and start a conversation. I'm going to run across the street and say hi to them. I'm going to turn around at the grocery store and speak. And for 3 months, I talked to girls every single day that I was terrified to talk to. And I fumbled. I had no clue what I was doing. No one teaches you this. You have to mess up and learn. And by the end of the summer, I felt so confident. I could talk to anyone. And I'd still get rejected a lot, but I just didn't care anymore.
Because just the sheer number of rejection, like you
I was just
build
like, okay, I'm still alive.
Yeah,
I'm alive,
fine.
and I still have this friend, and I'm healthy, and
Yep.
that's why I asked you before. I was like, okay, if they abandon you, and then what?
And then what? I love that you said that
And
because
then what?
and then what? It's
I
like,
still have my career, and I'm still healthy, and my family's there, and
I think the and then what is that I don't like being, when I get romantically jilted, it really throws me off in a way that it makes me a person I don't like. I get vindictive. I get I just channel this like Taylor Swift of like, he will pay. I want to write about him.
why do women do that?
Because you hurt us so much, and we trusted you.
We hurt you, or you allowed yourself to feel something.
This is the thing. I have allowed myself to be hurt by many of these men. The men that hurt me last year, I have a couple that like, I look at it and I say, the red flags were there. All of your friends knew that this was bad news.
You had a choice to leave at any time.
I had a choice to not do those things with him and build that intimacy when I knew it was going to fall apart. But I did choose it. But at the same time, I also have avoided a lot of people by being like, no, this is not good. I know I'm gonna. Sometimes guys trick you into thinking it's going to be more than it is. And I don't mean that they don't intentionally do it.
Right.
I think there are some guys that do that, but there are some guys that think this is becoming something, and this is leading to, and you think, oh my God, this might be a guy that is my boyfriend, that might be my husband. I'm like, I'm 35. When I think about a boyfriend, I'm like, is this it?
Right.
And you start getting excited.
Yeah.
You start fantasizing about it and people go, Nikki, don't fantasize. And it's like, well, if I don't fantasize, I don't have anything. Because I haven't had a boyfriend in so long. So the fantasy is like so fun. The crush, the buildup of it. And then when that guy meets someone else, decides he doesn't like you anymore, is also too scared of intimacy himself and rejects you, it is devastating. And I can't work as hard. And I'm so scared of that pain. I think that's what I'm really scared of, is just being hurt.
You know what's crazy? I feel like until you fully fall in love with that pain, you're not going to be able to fully throw yourself into a relationship.
Fall in love with the pain.
In a sense of like, I'm not saying I want you to go through pain and experience a lot of it, but you need to be okay with it, I think. And it's like accepting yourself in the pain.
Yeah.
Like, do you feel like you've ever fully accepted who you are?
No. I feel like you're
always going to be hurt. You're always going to be hurt if you never accept who you are.
I'm trying. Like, I am doing everything to accept who I am. It's like
what don't you accept about yourself?
I don't accept being average. I won't accept
You're not average.
But I won't accept that.
What does average mean? In what area of life? In your career, as a stand-up comic, as a show host, as a girlfriend, as a
girl, like
daughter,
I just don't know why.
As a sister.
I mean, I just want the best of everything, and I always think that there's something better, I guess, and I don't. Maybe that's it. I don't know what I don't accept about myself. I mean, clearly looks are a thing that I'm struggling with. You just have to get there, but I don't. Easier said than done.
Yeah,
and that's what I get. I get so mad because a lot of times I think women, when I talk about these things, women who are so in the body positivity community kind of bristle at me saying, I think looks matter and I wish I were prettier, and it makes me depressed that I'm not. I can't help that. And it would be a lie for me to be like, I love myself. And so I want to be there. I would kill to have that kind of Lizzo confidence. Right. But it's just not hard. There for me yet.
No, I get it. I mean, like, my entire life, I feel very confident. I feel like I love myself. I believe in myself, but I've never had a six pack. Like, it's almost there, but it's like, gosh, I wish I didn't have like this little layer of like fat in my stomach. And I've always had messed up teeth. And when I was 16, I also had 8 teeth removed because I was going to get braces. I had my 4 wisdom teeth removed in St. Louis.
Dude, I had 8 teeth removed to
Shut
have my...
up. You did not.
I swear to God,
you
people never believe me when I said I had 8 teeth removed.
Look at this. So
they took out so many teeth.
These two here, and then my 4 wisdom. So I got them taken out, and I never got braces because it was football season coming up, and I didn't want to have like a mouth guard.
I had the same
and smack in there.
going. We
And
probably
so
had the same
I went
orthodontist.
20. Probably it was miserable. I was like, for 2 weeks, just like with gauze in my mouth. It was so
Yeah.
painful, misery.
I remember getting those little cases of all my teeth. I
Oh
had
my
8 of
gosh,
them.
it's nuts, right? And so that's crazy.
But then I got braces.
You got braces. You have great teeth.
And they all shoved them together.
Yeah, so I never got braces because I didn't want to. I was like, kept pushing it off, and it's been 20 years.
Yeah.
And I'm always insecure about my smile, and even though it doesn't look that bad, it's like you notice it. You know, when you're in the mirror and you notice it, you
Yeah,
feel
you
it.
notice
You're like,
it, yes.
it's.
It doesn't matter if people don't.
And I got gaps when you look on the side, and it's like I finally was like, you know what? 6 months ago, I was like, screw it, I'm getting Invisalign. So I wear Invisalign now, and I'm like, you know what? I don't even care. I'm just gonna smile, and people are gonna see it, and I'm gonna accept myself through the discomfort.
Yes.
It's not
in
like
the pain.
perfect. It's not perfect, and people will say something, but I'm like, I'm working on myself to get better.
Yes.
So I want to be better. I'm not happy with where I'm at, with my stomach, with my teeth, but it's like I'm training every day. I'm eating clean. I'm seeing improvement, and that's all I can do. Is like,
Yes.
I'm not 100% satisfied, but I still love and accept myself of where I'm at and where I'm going. And I'm proud of every single day of taking the actions
Okay.
to improve. So it's like I feel the movement. It's getting better. I'm taking care of myself. I'm eating clean. It's like the ritual every day in the routine, which is helping me like be okay and be in peace.
Yes.
As opposed to like looking myself in the mirror and be like, why are you so ugly every day? Like, because I used to be that way too.
But you have money. You can do the problem is that
I didn't
you
have
don't
money
have, you
10
don't
years
have
ago.
to. I know, but
Broke.
Right, me too. But now that we do, you
Yeah.
can do things to be hotter.
Sure.
That no one would notice.
Sure.
That no one, like everyone goes, don't get work done.
Yeah, don't
okay,
get,
well,
like,
the hot deeds
injections and this
look,
and that.
Yeah, but they look hotter because they've had it and the work is so good that you don't notice it. So I hate that argument. That's what I struggle with is I can afford to spend money on
Should
things.
you do these things?
Yeah, if it's there, or should I
makes
just
you happier.
But will that? I mean, I'm not going to be able to put it off forever. Eventually, I will be in my like 70s,
Yeah.
and it's gonna all fade.
I think
but
I think listen, if you want to do work on yourself, or if it's going to make you happier, I think it's like a both and. I'm not saying like don't do work on yourself. If you want to put like, I'm not a fan of like injections and all these things in your face personally. Like my personal preference when women do that, but if it's like if it's going to make you feel something, if you've got like, I don't know, your nose is all the way over to your side of your face and it really frustrates you every day and you can fix it.
Yes.
Okay, fix it. If your teeth are jacked up and you want to fix it, like I'm fixing it.
I know.
I'm not doing veneers, but I'm doing like braces.
The fact that you said the braces thing, because I got Invisalign because I wanted to fix this one buck tooth, right? This
I
one
see you
sticks
noticing.
out.
You can't even notice it until
this
you
one
said it.
sticks out a
you
little
have
bit
the-
more than this
you
one.
have the
And I
Invisalign
have the
on.
Invisalign.
I couldn't even see it.
on. So I got Invisalign. It didn't work for me because they couldn't fix. This is the only reason I got it done, and they couldn't. I went through 3 years of Invisalign.
No,
I'm
you
not
did
joking
not.
you. 3 different sets of like 14
They tried
trays.
different things.
Yes. And they couldn't fix it. Sometimes it's just unmovable. And so I was like, but this bothers me. No one notices, but if ever I see it in every picture, it stops. Now I smile like this all the time.
Shut up. No.
And I have a great smile. And I
do have a great smile.
But it
Let me notice
bothers
it.
me so much that I can't take it. And I can't. So I'm like, I'm going to get regular braces. I'm going to have
Do
6
it.
months of regular braces.
be amazing teeth,
It'll
and
be
then it's done for the
hilarious.
rest of your life.
Yes. And then it's done.
It's done. Time is happening. It's
Yes.
moving.
So I'm going to get
Get it
8 more
done.
teeth taken out so they can do the braces.
I can't believe you had 8 teeth all at the same time.
Yes.
In
dude.
one time.
And no one ever believes me, but this was a
No one
St.
believes
Louis
me either.
trend.
This is-
And people don't believe that we had to tell jokes to get Halloween candy.
Exactly.
That's another St. Louis thing. You have to trick or treat,
know.
you have to tell a joke.
And they say soda in St. Louis.
Yeah, we say
I grew
soda.
up saying pop in Ohio.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
So I'd always make fun of people saying soda, and then I was like, okay, no, it's soda.
Yeah, I
after
wonder
some
why
of
you
it.
didn't have friends.
Right, exactly. What else is a St. Louis thing that's different?
Racism, yeah,
Insecure young
segregation,
kids. Yeah, it's true.
alcoholism, toasted
Drug.
raviolis. I mean,
Oh, I love
so many fun things.
Wait a minute, is toasted ravioli not a thing anywhere else?
No, that's a St. Louis thing.
Because when in school we had toasted ravioli almost every day.
Yeah,
in St.
all the
Louis.
time.
And I was like, this is incredible.
Yeah, it was
But I'm like,
almost
where's
as,
toasted ravioli at every restaurant I go to?
Yeah.
It's only St. Louis?
It's only St. Louis.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, they should put it everywhere.
What's the Fritz's or
Fitz's, root
Fitz's?
beer,
Man, it's so
Emo's
good.
Pizza.
Emo's. Oh, the thin crust is my jam.
Yeah, it's so good.
I never liked Chicago deep crust.
Oh, I like it. I like it all. But
You like deep?
I like a thin crust and a lot of sauce. So the deep dish, you get a thin crust and like just all sauce.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's a mess. But yeah, I'm not big into pizza, but
I have
People hate
so many.
emos.
I have so many questions.
Okay.
I want to go for like 3 more hours with this.
I know. We could talk.
We only have
forever.
10 minutes, so I need
Jesus
to be. I need to
Christ.
be intentional with my last few
Okay.
questions here. What's the funniest joke you've ever told? In your mind, the funniest joke you feel like you were like, man, that I hit it. It like I was in the pocket.
You know, one joke that I wrote that I was so proud of because it took a bit of work. Man, okay. So it was a roast joke that I did, and it was because I recently watched an old roast set of mine. As soon as I do a special, I just dump all the material, and I truly forget all of it. People will be like, "Do that one joke," and I'm like, I don't even remember that subject matter.
Right.
Like, I don't even know where I'd begin to
gone, yeah.
conjure up that joke. But this one, because it's a one-liner. So the people on the first roast I did was the Bruce Willis. No, it was Rob Lowe, and Ralph Macchio, Karate Kid, was on the dais, and then also Jimmy Carr, who is a comedian, was on the dais. And I said, I was going through everyone, and then each person you just go like, you say their name, and then you go into a joke about them. And I was like, Jimmy A. Carr is what Ralph Macchio has to do to find a place to sleep at night. And that one I love because I remember like trying to figure out what to say about either of them, and I was like, Jimmy Carr. If you Jimmy something, it's like getting in it in a car. God, if there was Jimmy Carr doesn't mean any, like you can't Jimmy Carr. It would be Jimmy A. Carr. Wait, what if his middle initial is A? It's fucking A. His middle initial, it was like Alexander or something was his middle initial, and I was like, this is a fucking joke from the heavens. Like the math just worked out on it. So that one was in terms of like working on it. That was one I was really proud of.
Do you feel like the space of comedy right now, everyone is super on their toes, like, walking on eggshells of like, can I go this far? Am I allowed to talk about this subject?
Yeah.
Or it's going to ruin my career?
Yeah.
Is one tweet going to ruin my career? Is one thing I said on a college tour going to ruin it? Is one thing on a podcast going to like, if I said something too far, is everyone going to hold on to that for decades?
Yes.
As like, I'm this bad person, or I said something that can never be talked about, even though this is the profession of comedy.
It is scary, and I gotta be honest, I flirt with that line a lot because there's a part of me that wants to get it. Like I'm really tired, and I would like to one of my jobs to get canceled.
Wow.
That
so
would
you're
be
kind of like, I want to say whatever I want. I want to be free to say it, and if
I know I'm a good person. I know I'm not racist. I know I'm not. I have behaviors that are informed by the fact that I was raised in an all-white community and didn't grow up with black people around me. So there are things that I have to try so much harder to not be racist. I was raised in St. Louis.
Which school did you go to again?
Kirkwood.
Kirkwood, yeah.
And we had black kids at our school.
I went to church in Kirkwood for a little bit.
Oh,
yeah,
really?
Yeah.
But I what I'm saying is that I am not perfect by any means, and for someone to be like, I've never had a racist thought, it's like you can't help sometimes if you have a racist thought, and it never comes from me from a place of hate, but it just comes from a place of misunderstanding, and I'll admit to that. So if someone hears a joke I said and says she's racist, I know I'm not. So I'm okay with that, and I have made peace with that.
Yeah.
And if someone goes, you're sexist, you're whatever, you're a bad person, I've struggled so much in my life thinking I'm a bad person, and I really have made peace with the fact that, no, you're not, Nikki. You're in pain, and maybe you lash out sometimes, but deeply you want everyone in the world to be happy. I'm deeply empathetic.
Yeah.
I don't want to ever hurt anyone. So I just have to hold on to that, because if I do get canceled, the thing that would devastate me the most is having people think I'm a bad person. And as long as I focus and know that I'm not within myself, which is truly all that matters, then I don't need to be so scared all the time.
Wow.
Because I think the people that are most scared are the people that are actually racist.
Wow.
And they should be scared. Because, I don't know. I just feel like the consequences if I get canceled for something I've said that's really insensitive on a podcast 10 years ago, I will be able to look at that and be like, yuck. I shouldn't be allowed to work at that show because of those things that I said. There should be a punishment for that, because you're not supposed to talk that way, and it's a different time. So I feel, sometimes the punishment doesn't fit the crime, but I'm willing to accept things I've said in the past that probably could get me canceled and be like, yeah, I said it and I regret it.
Yeah. God, I feel like I want to talk so much more. We have 5 minutes, so
Okay.
I'm gonna be kind and wrap it up. This is a question I ask everyone at the end. It's called the 3 truths question. So imagine it's your last day on earth many years from now. You've lived hundreds of years. You've extended your life. You've done everything you want to do. You've done every comedy tour. You've hosted SNL 20 times. You own SNL. Whatever it is you want to do, you've done it.
Okay. I have a boyfriend.
You've got a husband who's the hottest man in the world, who loves you and tells you how beautiful you are every single day, and every ounce of you is amazing. Sex life. Everything. He's all the things, right? Okay. You've got everything you want. You've achieved everything. Everything you want, you've made happen. Okay.
Friends with Taylor Swift.
Everything. And it's your last day, and for whatever reason, this hypothetical situation, everything's got to go with you that you've created in the world. All your content, all your specials, all your work, this podcast, everything's gone. It goes with you to the next place.
Okay.
But you get to leave behind 3 things you know to be true. 3 lessons you've learned in your life, 3 morals, 3 somethings that you would then share with the world. What would you say are your 3 truths?
Number 1, I would say that animals have feelings, and especially mammals, pigs and chickens and goats and cows and ducks have all the same feelings and sadness and terror. They feel all those things that your little dog feels. The dog that you love so much that you never want to feel any. I was holding my dog yesterday. My parents are in town, and I gave my dog to my parents because I couldn't have them in New York. But I got to hold her yesterday, and I was just like, I just want to. I don't want her to feel any anxiety ever. And then I was thinking about, she was shaking because she was cold, and I was like thinking about all the animals right now that have been born into these terrible lives where they're just born to die, and they spend their whole lives terrified and shaking. And I just wish humans had more empathy for animals. Just because we're more intelligent does not mean that I wish people could understand it and have this, and everyone would make a move towards veganism. So that's what I'd wish people could really understand. Is
vegan?
Like, yeah, I'm full vegan. Wow. And like, it's hard and it sucks, and I don't get to have things I love, but you don't get to do everything you want to do because sometimes it's not right. Yeah. And what we're doing to animals is not right. And so that's one thing I would leave behind. Another thing I would leave behind is I think women do things, and men too. You don't have to do anything sexual you don't want to do. It is totally okay to make someone feel awkward about what they have just suggested you do. Because I think a lot of times we just go, oh, I have to do this because he thought I was supposed to do this right now. So maybe I didn't get the schedule sent to me, but okay, so now's sucking time. Okay. You don't be scared to make a situation awkward because you feel unsafe. So many times things happen because you go, this guy is creeping me out, but I don't want to be weird and say that. So I'm going to keep walking with him, even though his right behind me, he's not feeling safe. Instead of running or being like, what are you doing?
Yeah.
Because that would be awkward. Make it awkward.
Make it awkward.
Make it awkward. And also, meditate. Please meditate. It is the greatest gift to mankind, is the ability to sit in silence. It's free. And it will change your life. And meditation is truly the one thing, like nothing has helped me as much with my anxiety and my depression as meditation. I was truly someone who was like really suffering and wanted to I was like, God, am I going to have to get like lobotomized? Like my thoughts are so dark and my life is so good, but I can't get out of this hole. And then when I started meditating, doing TM twice a day, it just saved my life.
Wow.
And I haven't meditated in 2 days, and it's the longest I've gone in 2 years because my schedule has been so slammed here, and I'm off, man.
And the coronavirus is happening.
It is crazy. So meditation is the
key.
And let me just one more truth about meditation. Anyone listening who says, I can't, and you just think you're special enough to be like, I'm too OCD, my thoughts are too much, I run too high strung. You're not special. Sorry. Everyone feels that way about meditation. It is not about not having thoughts. I know that's scary. How could I not have thoughts? It's not about that. Anyone can meditate. I know you right now being like, I can't, I'm different, I have ADHD, I have this. Everyone can even you, ADHD, you can meditate, and it will improve your life so much, and it's free. There is no excuse not to do it. Yeah. You can do it.
You can do it for a couple minutes. It doesn't have to be 20 minutes. It can be
and
5.
It's the gentlest practice. You can't do it wrong.
It's amazing.
Yeah.
I love that. These are great truths.
Thank you.
Where can we support you?
You can check out my tour dates at nikkiglaser.com/tour. And I have a podcast called You Up. And I also have a Sirius XM show called You Up with Nikki Glaser every morning on Sirius Channel 95, Comedy Central Radio.
You got that down.
Yeah, I do.
Yeah, check her out on Instagram as well. You post a lot of comedy stuff, but also I love the positivity you post out there.
Thank you.
I appreciate you. I acknowledge you for showing up and constantly allowing yourself to be vulnerable in the messiness. For the fact that you talked openly about all these things, for me, is really inspiring. So
Thanks.
I want to acknowledge you for that. I want to acknowledge you from being from St. Louis, and we have that in
Yes.
common. We have 8 teeth missing, so
18.
I think it's really powerful that you're willing to open up and express yourself in the discomfort of like, I don't have it all figured out, and I'm still trying to, feel attracted to myself, and I'm still trying to do this, and I feel like I need to be great all the time, and I'm scared of this. So I really want to acknowledge you for that, because I think it's important for people to hear that, especially.
Yeah, I don't get it figured out.
Yeah, none of us do.
But I'm trying. But we're all trying, and I think we need to be honest about trying, because it feels bad when you see someone that does have it all together, and you're like, I'll never be like them. I like hearing about the struggle, so thank you for letting me share it.
My final question for you is, what is your definition of greatness?
What is my definition of greatness? My definition of greatness is achieving happiness and being kind while doing it.
And if you want to learn how to become happier in your life, then make sure to check out this video right here.
Like, we don't know what to do to be happier. We have these strong theories. It's just the science suggests they're wrong. It's not like we're not putting the work in. We're putting the work in the wrong stuff.
So imagine, it sounds like you've had this experience with 1,000 different students you've